Hello ladies and gentlemen, and Idiot Imports is sponsored by PlayAsia, who most likely supplied this game to me unless I specifically mentioned that they didn't. You can follow the affiliate link in the description to buy this game from PlayAsia to support me and my channel, and you can use the coupon code BlueVita to save $3 off your order. Thanks for your support, enjoy the show. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out KanColle Kai. Or Kantai Collection Kai. They just shortened it to KanColle, which is weird, but I won't bother poking into that. So, this is an Idiot Imports, as always. You know the drill with an Idiot Imports. Bloody intro videos always starting up in my face. You know the drill with these. I basically don't know any Japanese, and I'm just relying on things like a translation program on my tablet. Google Translate app is amazing, although it doesn't really do the best in translating. It is still better than nothing. And also notably, there's a KanColle wiki that has this huge page on how to play KanColle Kai, and it's also got listings for all the quests, all the ships, all the areas you need to go to and stuff like that. So if you want to use that to your advantage, which I have, you're more than welcome to. I'll show you how you can do that while we're actually playing the game. So let's load into my game now. It doesn't give you a save time. I've been through about 4 weeks of in-game time. No, it's closer to 3 weeks, but 3-4 weeks of in-game time, and it's been at least 4 hours, but it's probably closer to something like 5 or 6, because I've been playing this just on and off for the past day and a half, and well, that doesn't really get you that far in games like this, I'll tell you that much. But I've got enough of the game down to hopefully explain how it works. So let's just go and load into my game real quick. Notably, this game has a crashing problem. Or at least some people say that it has. I've been saving constantly and I haven't run into a crash once, which is interesting. But thankfully saving's pretty quick, so it doesn't really take that much effort to do. And there has been an update that's supposed to have patched some things, so hopefully that won't happen very often. But once we've loaded in, there aren't very many loading times at all, so we don't really have that much to worry about. So here we are on the strategy map. The strategy map is where all your hexes are for your world map locations to explore. And there's a bunch of stuff that we can do while we're here, but the first thing I'm going to do, just before I start getting into everything else, is I'm going to move my fleets into places where they can actually fight shit, because they can't actually do much while they're here, so I'm gonna move them to different places while I can. So we've got 2 fleets here. We can have a maximum of 6. We have 4 locations we can explore. This middle hex is where our home base is, and we can't do anything while we don't have any fleets there, but we've got fleets out in other places so that we can actually do exploration there. Every hex has a bunch of maps that you can go to that has... See, you've got 4 maps on this one, and every one has a bunch of nodes that you can go to in order to, like, explore them and stuff. So, we've got a... I've already completed all 4 parts of the area there, so we don't really need to worry about exploring there anymore. So, it's mainly these 2 areas here. And this one down here as well. But this one I can only take a few different kinds of ships along to, and I don't have anything high enough level to actually bother with that yet. So, that's a thing. So if you hit triangle, you can actually see how your fleets are doing. I've got 2 different fleets, and unfortunately this one's a bit down in the dumps at the moment, but there is something we can do about that. So we've got the second fleet selected right now, so if we select that and go to Flagship Command, which can also be done by pressing the R button at pretty much any time, we can access the fleet command screen. Now there's a bunch of stuff we can do here. The thing in the bottom right that's blacked out is shipbuilding. We can only do that back on the home square, unfortunately. I would like to be able to build a ship while we're out here, but we can't do that, so that's unfortunate. We have a bunch of stuff we can do here. These are missions, and missions give you things like resources, and they also unlock new missions for you to do. I'm going to select a few here, because it turns out at the beginning of every month, it actually does a bunch of stuff. Let me try that again. It actually resets all your quests at the end of a month, which is very unusual, but you know, then again, it does kind of warn you that it's going to do that, so I'm not too fussed about it. So the idea with these quests is that you can't actually see what you need to do with them, and it's actually kind of hard to figure out what you do need to do with them. However, the KanColle card quest page on the KanColle wiki actually has all of these with English titles, and the way to find them is that if you press square, you can see you get a certain amount of resources. You simply search for them with the slashes between them, and it'll take you straight to the mission you need to actually do, which is great, because you can just come here and do that quick search and see what the mission is and what you need to do for it. That's pretty great, because that means you don't have to worry about translating them too much. This is the repair dock, and I am going to actually do a quick repair for these ships so that they're not out of action for the whole turn. There are special items that you can get that can do this. There are also special items that can do things like speed up ship construction. The items up in the top right there, for example, that thing that looks like two hammers hitting a gear, that's how many ships you can build. And there's a bunch of other things, but we'll get into them shortly. If we come up to this one here, this is where we resupply. Thankfully, we don't need to resupply anything right now, but not keeping your ships filled up with fuel and ammo means they won't be able to go very far, and they won't be as effective in combat. And you get more resources every turn depending on where you've set your logistics ships. And I'll be able to show that off shortly. This is where you come to swap out ships in your fleet. Right now, I've got, I think, a bunch of destroyers and a aircraft carrier. I should probably swap a couple of these out for light cruisers just to get some training in, but I can't actually do that right now because this fleet's already moved for this turn, so that's a little unfortunate. Yep, I just went back into the screen again. And in the top right is where you can come to customize ships. You can give them, like, new weapons. You can feed other ships to them to increase their base stats, and you can also modernize them, which is a little strange, because I think it's like prestiging, where once they get the max level, you can prestige them to make them more powerful. But I think you might also need some extra resources for that. If you press L, you can come and see your stats screen here. I'm level 5 right now, and I'm close to getting to level 6. And you gain levels as you go along by winning battles and stuff like that. This one here lets you go to the ship gallery and the equipment gallery. You can build ship and equipment. There's a bunch of equipment I've got here. And there's a bunch of ships. Yes, they are all anthropomorphized girls. This is very strange, but then again, this is a Japanese game, like through and through, so I'm not too phased by it. You build your ships by assigning different amounts of resources to the 4 resources up in the top right there. So fuel, ammo, silver, and bronze, or whatever the bloody hell they are. You assign the different amounts to them, and it gives you a random ship. Like, just out of the blue. Like, I can actually go and... No, I have to wait until I end my turn. But, you can actually go and... You actually get the ships at random, and I can go and show you the ships later. This is the items shop, I think. Yep. So, you can come here to have a look at your individual items, and these all do different things. Like, this one here gives me, restoring, what was it? The ship's mood. Like, they can get really upset. It's weird to say it, but they can get really upset if they go into a lot of fights in a row and they don't win very many of them. We've got repair crews here that we can assign to ships, shipbuilding items, instant repair kits. This is a medal. We can actually turn medals into resources if we want, which is kind of nice. And if we tap this thing up here, it will let us go and we can buy both resources, special items, and just a bunch of other stuff. So you can buy things like repair kits. You can buy things like increasing your fleet capacity, because you only start with 100, but you can move up to at least 300. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can get here too. I haven't translated it all if you couldn't tell, but all of these items are very useful, and you get these via strategy points. You get strategy points by clearing maps and doing quests. This down here is your settings. It also has tutorials down here, down the very bottom, which I don't recommend you turn off, but at the same time, just kind of try and play your way by ear. The game's not that hard to figure out, but there are a bunch of things it doesn't tell you, which is annoying. This is the furniture. I haven't actually customized anything about this place yet, but I've got the money to do so. So you can buy things to help customize your individual fleet rooms. Like, you get different rooms for every one of your fleets, and you can buy stuff for it. I don't know if this actually has any statistical effect. If it does, that'd be kind of neat, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too surprised if it didn't. So yeah, you can buy a bunch of visual customization stuff. Like, let's buy this fancy window, for example. I think this is the one that lets you do it. Yep. Now, if we head back out here, I should be able to select it. Nope. If I head back out to the customization screen, I should be able to select it. Nope, that's not the customization screen. That's the customization screen. Kind of hard to work your way around the menu at first, but I imagine if you put enough hours into the game, you'll be able to figure it out just fine. I guess that's going in this slot. Yep, there it is. So yeah, you can just customize the background. Kind of neat. And the final option is the save option, which is right here. And again, the game doesn't auto-save. You would expect the game to auto-save, but it doesn't. Which is kind of great, because you can actually use this for save scumming. So if you start constructing something and you're not getting the ship you want, you can just cancel the construction by reloading the save game. But yeah, that's pretty much how it works. So let's go back to the main command area. That big button in the middle will always take you back to this area. Like, no matter what one of the two menus you're on. You press L to swap between those two menus, by the way. You can also press L out here to get to this menu, which lets you skip to a bunch of different things, but I haven't taken the time to learn what all these are, except for this one down the bottom, because this one down the bottom is always save. So if you want to save real quick, that's how you do it. Now, this game, you might have noticed it's a lot like a lot of free-to-play mobile strategy titles, and that's because this is basically a port of a free-to-play browser title. It's not a mobile free-to-play strategy title, but it is a browser strategy title. So how did they port this, you might ask? Well, the idea is that you get turns, and every turn something happens. I have ships building that'll take several turns to build. I have every turn you can only go on like one sortie, for example. Every turn you get resources and stuff like that. And yeah, by the way, this is logistics. So you can set the amount of ships you have on one place in order to, amount of logistic ships you have on one place in order to get resources. Unfortunately, I can't see if any of my ships are building, because I know I have 2 ships building here, but I guess while I don't have a ship here, I can't really do anything with it. So yeah, I've got 6 ships over here and 9 ships here, and every turn they'll give me those resources. So if I end my turn here, I get the resources that you can see in the bottom left, and my ships are restocked and ready to go. So let's do a couple of things. So there are a bunch of things you can do. You can go on expeditions, but my main fleet can't do that, so I'll have to go swap to the second fleet to show you how this works. You can go on expeditions, and you bring along a certain amount of expedition ships, which I don't have available right now, and hopefully they'll come back with more supplies. However, this is a bit of a waste of time. So unless a quest has you very specifically going for this, don't bother. Fleet drills. There are 2 different kinds of fleet drills. You've got fleet drills here, which will do AI exercises among itself, and this will increase the parameters of a specific set of... Well, this will increase a specific stat among all your ships. So, one might be regular shell firing, one might be submarine combat, one might be another thing. They've all got a very specific thing that they do. I just don't know them off by heart. You can also do AI versus AI fleets. If both your ships are fully restocked and both in the same hex, you can do ship versus ship combat, and that actually gives a lot of experience. So if you have all of your ships together, you can get an absolute ton of experience. The thing is, experience in this game, even with the main combat, comes really, really slowly. So it actually takes a lot of time to get this done, especially if you're still fumbling around a bit trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. So this is where you come to select a map to deploy to. There are a bunch of things I can do right now, and like I can go back to this map and do missions here, but there's no point because they give lots, they give really low XP, not lots of XP, really low XP. I think I actually want to come back here and show off all my ships right now, because there's a lot of ships that I've got. And yeah, as you can see, I've got an absolute ton of ships. I've got 24 ships. And I've only got 2 fleets to carry them around in. So I actually have to be, like, swapping out ships in order to, like, really make a difference. I should probably be taking along a couple of aircraft carriers. Just for the purpose of, demonstration. And I should also have built a bunch of, torpedo launchers. Because I don't think I have that many torpedo launchers in this, in this fleet. But I will take along everybody I can in all sorts of different classes. Because they all have different stats and they all have different things they can do. And they're all probably going to get the shit kicked out of them. Because this is how this shit works. But we'll give it a try anyway, just for the purpose of demonstrating how this game works. And we'll get 2 out of this. So let's weigh anchor and go to the only spot we can go to right now. Oh, right. She's low on everything. Better not go into battle without refueling her. This is the resupply, right? Nope, this is repair. The ship girls actually use live 2D, which is what the Criminal Girls 2 actually use, which is kind of neat. Because it all looks really nice. And there's a bunch of neat little animations and stuff they've got too, and it just... The whole game has a nice presentation to it. It's pretty well done. So, let's actually weigh anchor now and go out and fight. So this is how the maps work. They all start out unexplored. You don't have any idea what's on these nodes here. And you get this compass. When you hit circle, it spins the compass, so it's random where you go the first time. The idea is you want to be going to different places, you'll be getting into combat, you'll be finding resources, and you'll be slowly working your way to the only initially revealed red spot, which will be a boss fight. So let's select the formation. I don't know what these formations do. I imagine they give some sort of stat bonus, but I don't know what they do off by heart. I haven't translated those. They don't seem to make that much difference, at least early on, but I guess later on they'll make a hell of a difference. So, we'll get to see our fleet and we'll get to see theirs. They have 3 regular ships. This is the sort of fleet that is... My brain is not working with me today. This is just a sort of, like, regular ship fleet. So, at the start of combat, you get 3 different tactical options you can take, and you have a few options here to choose. You have move towards the enemy, which will make your shots more accurate, but will make you less likely to dodge. You have the gun, which will fire the regular guns. You have torpedoes, which will fire torpedoes, obviously. You have retreat, which has a low chance of working, but if you stack them all up, you can do that. You have this here, which is attack submarines. I don't know what this does. This is fly your airplanes out. There are a bunch of other buttons that can appear here as well. And you also get the ability to do more as time goes on. Like, you can select up to 6, I think. You get more options as you level up and unlock specific things. But we have 3 options set up right here, so let's just hit the engage button. Notably, you don't actually take part in the combat other than this. But anyway, here comes the attack. They bomb the enemy, and it's pretty luck-based, honestly, but I actually did pretty well there. That's 2 enemies down right off the bat. Now we move into the regular combat, and everybody takes turns firing at the enemies, and we'll see how much damage we can do. Yep, we won that fight pretty much outright. That's pretty cool. So, again, the battles don't actually have any interaction with you. They have a bit of luck and stuff going on between them, and I will admit I actually like it. Like, I like it a lot. It's surprising how much I like it. But anyway, at the end of the battle, you get experience spread between all your ships, and the most valuable ship of the whole lot gets the biggest XP boost. And then you get to choose whether or not you want to retreat and whether or not you want to go on. And you can go on if you still have fuel left. However, you might notice that my flagship got damaged. Now, the problem is that when your ships get down into the red zone, when they take a lot of damage and get into the red zone, if they take one more hit in a subsequent battle... Okay, I lost some resources there, and that's unfortunate. Yep, I get to pick Well, I don't get to pick what direction I go in, but it lets me go in a direction now. When your ships are in the red, and they get into another battle and take a hit. This doesn't include getting into night battles, which I might get into eventually, because night battles do show up at some point. But when your ship gets into another battle and takes another hit, they die forever. So it is a bit of a tactical decision. Do I want to push forward and risk getting hit by something, or do I want to withdraw, get some repairs in, and continue on? Some hexes only have limited repair. Some hexes don't have any repair slots at all. So it's interesting that the and also the positioning of where these hexes are brainworking here. Like the positioning of where this is can actually determine how the battle goes, because there are some tactical decisions that can be made by having the torpedoes at the front or the back, for example. So there is a lot to figure out with this battle system, despite the fact that you basically don't interact with it. So yeah, there is a bit of a strategic decision on when to go forth and when to pull back. And it remains interesting. And of course, it is a sort of a port of a free-to-play mobile browser game, but trust me, the two aren't very dissimilar. So yeah, the game is very, well, I mean, I know it's a bit disingenuous to say it's interesting when it's like a mobile game, but considering it's a full-priced port of a mobile game, it has kept me very interested indeed, mainly because of the idea that I actually really like these sorts of games when they're reasonable. Like, most mobile games do eventually hit like a sort of, if you aren't paying, you can't really progress further wall. But this is basically an example of a game saying, hey, you want to play this game without having to spend any, well, having to spend a ridiculous amount of money on the microtransactions? Well, here you go. And not many mobile style games do that, and that's kind of interesting to me. I do like the idea of it. Now, this screen here, everybody's taking a shot, and we can choose whether or not to go on into a night battle. Notably, this is kind of a pain in the ass, because, the idea is that the hex is always centered on the one option you don't want to pick if you want to continue the fight. That's very useful to remember if you actually want to play this game. But let's go on into a night battle. Night battles have shots doing extreme amounts of damage, but the hit-miss ratio is also way up. So hopefully we can get the first couple of attacks in. Oh no. Damn, she's down into the red. I'm probably going to want to retreat as soon as possible. See, look at that, 52 damage. But yeah, as I was saying, the, do I really want to risk retreating that? Well, it's a level 11 ship. I don't want to spend all the time in the world trying to get her repaired. So, alright, what I can do is I can bail out. I'm going to bail out. I'm going to get her repaired, and then we can come back and do this mission again. Because I really don't want to. I really don't want to risk losing a level 11 ship when I'm trying to grind up all my lower level ships. So, let's go to the flagship command, refuel them, get that one ship repairing. Yeah, I've got plenty of repair kits, so I'll just instant repair her, because why not? So yeah, I like these sorts of games because, like, it reminds me a lot of Destiny of Spirits, actually. Do you remember Destiny of Spirits? Because that game was neat, and I wish they'd never shut it down, because I'd probably still be playing it to this day. But that game was neat, because it let you pick up a lot of different kinds of monster. It gave you lots to do with them, lots of places to clear, and different events that you could do. And this game is basically the same as that, except you don't have to pay for any sort of microtransactions to get anything done. And that is, in itself, really neat. Right, so I've got the ship repaired. I need to refuel them, and I've refueled them. So, next turn, they'll be fine. So, let's go back down to the command section and select my other fleet. And actually, you know what? I'll send my other guys back through that same area, because why not? And we'll move this fleet back here so I can demonstrate how shipbuilding works next turn. So I'll just hit square twice and go on to the next turn. So now if I go into flagship command, I should be able to see how my stuff is going. So let's see what's going on here. 7 turns until they're built. Fantastic. And I can't open up this slot just yet, and I'm not entirely sure when I can. It might be an item I can buy, it might be something else, I'm not sure. I can, however, build equipment, and I can show you how this works. So, the amount of resources you put into building something actually determines what you're going to get out of it. So, if I put everything up to, say, 40, except for silver, it might actually change what I get. And if I tap here, it gives me the equipment. And the equipment is always of an adorable little girl trying to figure out what the bloody hell they're meant to do with this gigantic-ass gun. And it's amazing. They've done a really good job with just the overall theme of this game. A 25mm artillery cannon. 2 stars. Okay. But yeah. So it actually changes what you're likely to get. And the drops are random, as I said before. So as you can see, I'm getting different stuff every time. And you can put in as many resources as you want, but again, you don't want to go spending too much. You can also come here to discard ships for resources, but there's no real point in that. You don't get much resources. You can also come here to discard items. There's a bunch of items that you can do stuff with, actually. So, let's go back out into the command. It's annoying because you don't have any way to quick swap between, your fleets in the flagship command screen, which is kind of annoying, because it would be nice to be able to do that. But I don't think you can. Hey, we actually completed a quest. So we complete the quest, we get the resources, including to make instant repair kits, and you get more quests as time goes on. You also have quests that reset every month, as I said before. So there's a lot to do. There's like 200 something quests in this game that you need to do, and a bunch of them are things like have a specific set of ships in one of your fleets. So it can take a fairly long time to get anything done in this one. So let's actually go out and do another fight, shall we? We'll go back to that same area we were in before and see if we can actually clear it this time. But before we do, let's actually go and equip some extra weapons to the other girls, because it does actually increase their stats. So let's do this. Do I have any? Unfortunately, I didn't get any torpedo launchers, but I did get some artillery cannons. So that might be useful. It is actually very useful to get as many torpedo launchers as you possibly can, because torpedoes can do an insane amount of damage, but some craft just can't use them. You can see all the individual stats of the ships down at the bottom right there, and, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. And we can also come here to, like, increase our stats. So if I were to put, say, a bunch of girls in here, just as an example, I'll do these 5 here. If I were to do that, I'd get a pretty big increase to all my stats. So I could do that if I wanted to. However, you do get a lot of duplicates in this game eventually. So while you might not want to do it right out, just so you can do the quests that are like, have these 3 particular ships in this one fleet, you may want to just hang on to your like first set of them just in case. Because you might get everything you need just like right off the bat just by being lucky. So that might be a thing that's worth half a damn. So, let's just equip some extra cannons on here, because if you're playing, if you get into a night battle and your ships have two red cannons on them, it actually fires both cannons at once for enhanced damage. And considering how much damage you already do when it comes to, considering how much damage you already do at nighttime, it's actually very useful. So, let's actually get out there and get into the fight, shall we? There is actually a way to, skip early fights. You can't skip the boss fight. That's something you always have to do. But, if you press L while you're on the, on this screen that's coming up here, it will let you skip any regular fights you run into on the way. So if I press L here, away we go. I'm going in the same direction, but it does let you do a faster version of the fight. So you can select your formation right here. And your things, which I'll leave alone. How did it go? We won outright, didn't even take a hit. Fantastic. So yeah, it goes by a bit faster. All your XP and stuff, it still remains the same. And you can still choose whether or not you want to go on or not, which we will. Where are we going this time? Alright, we're going directly south, straight to this next fight. So, I probably don't want to skip this one. I'll let you see this one. There are all sorts of different kinds of ships you can have. There's destroyers, there's aircraft carriers, there's light aircraft carriers, heavy ones, heavy cruisers. There's a bunch of different ships from all over the Japanese Navy, and it's pretty neat. They also included a US battleship in this one, which was the Iowa, I think it was. Which was pretty cool. I'm going to select my torpedoes here. Let's do this. Hopefully it'll go a little bit better than it did last time, but again, I don't have any control over this. It's all pretty much luck. So hopefully this will go well for me. That one got in the way, unfortunately. Nothing else took any damage, but I did take that one out in the first volley, so that's a good start. I'm hoping that I can take out as many of the little guys as I can as possible, so that during the nighttime fight, I'll be able to do massive amounts of damage to that big one. Oh dear, she's hurt again. What is it about her and getting hurt? Thankfully, she can't die in this fight, so this is good news for me at the very least. Poor aircraft carrier. Here comes the torpedoes. Right, we're going to carry this on to the nighttime fight. Because I want to at least get this done. Alright, one down and I've got 5 shots left. Hopefully I'll be able to do something to them. My flagship is really good at dodging, apparently. Nope. Unfortunately, we didn't get lucky this time either, so looks like we'll have to go and do a bit of grinding before we can really take that particular node on, which is unfortunate. Do get a good grade for that, though. Sometimes you'll also get free ships as drops for doing these fights. You know what? Screw it. Let's go on and see if we can actually win this. We probably won't. Because the boss fight will even be harder than that, but I'll let you see it anyway. Because this is definitely the boss fight. It's always the one that's highlighted at the beginning. So, let's pick this one. And away we go. So what do we have to fight? Oh, that's not pleasant. That's really not pleasant. Yeah. Let's just leave it as is. Maybe we can get some decent experience in, but I do not trust the ability of the green-haired ship to survive. Yep, they can send out bombers too. Which is great. Alright, let's see. How much damage have I done? I have done... I've taken out 2 of their smaller guys, which is a good start, I guess. Oh dear, we have actually gone and lost her. Down she goes. So sad. They've all got heaps of individual voice clips too, which is weird. Just a little weird. Also, yeah, there are changes depending on how damaged they are, which is pretty neat, actually. It doesn't go as far as, like, a Hyperdimension Neptunia game, for example, but it's still pretty neat that it happens. Here comes the torpedo attack. Let's see. Unfortunately, not much damage. No reason not to carry on to the freaking nighttime battle, because we've already lost one. It's not like it's going to It's not like we're going to lose anymore. We can at least try. Come on, hit something. God damn it. And my bloody aircraft carrier needs a repair real bad. Wow, I didn't hit a goddamn thing. That's impressive. Oh, that's just bad luck. We did lose a ship. That's going to take a while to grind back up, I'll tell you that much. At least everything else got a decent amount of XP, so it's not a complete loss. That's the whole game, pretty much. It's organizing your resources, keeping your fleet fueled up and trained, and sending them out on fights that you really don't have that much control over. I'll do one more, just for the purpose of, you know, having something to end off with. I'll go onto the hardest map that I've got on the first thing, just to show you. Right, I should go resupply them first. Just to, just summarize everything. That's the repair dock. God damn it. I'm still getting this wrong. There we go. Just hit square, resupply everyone, and back out into the fight. It's... If you were looking for a sort of like Destiny of Spirits style game and you're willing to put up with a bit of translation here and there, like the KanColle wiki has a bunch of like pictures to go along with the names of the ships. So if you need to do a quest that's like, hey, I need to put XYZ ships into a fleet, well, it can help you with that too. I'll be sure to link the wiki in the space below. But if you're looking for a game like that that doesn't rely on like microtransactions and stuff like that, KanColle Kai is a pretty easy game to recommend. But again, it does come with all the regular stuff. Like, stuff is a random drop, and there's all sorts of, you know, just sort of free-to-play mechanical things in here, even though you can buy them. You can buy them using things like strategy points and stuff like that, via quests and stuff, so it's not like you're completely... It's not like you're being bent over by microtransactions in this one. They just, they've just designed it around how the game works. Because, you know, if they changed it so that it wasn't like the browser game anymore, it wouldn't be Kantai Collection. That's basically it, right? I can understand why the series is so popular. Especially with, you know, they've designed a good, like, shipbuilding, microtransaction-y style game under it. And then again, they've just made it so that you don't really require microtransactions. It's nice. So yeah, down they go. And we will move on to the nighttime fight, because we only need to hit one shot and that thing's dead. So hopefully we'll be able to hit that. We can choose to retreat and move on if we don't feel like we can win the fight, but, you know, if you retreat and move on, you don't get the as much XP. So, that's a thing. So, yep, they're all dead. So, yeah, if you're looking for a game like just, you know, Destiny of Spirits or a mobile game that doesn't screw you over, then you'll probably have a great time with KanColle Kai if you can get over the language barrier. Oh, hey, a free ship. Already have this one. Shit. Okay, moving on. I'll make sure the next battle skips so you can see the next boss fight instead without wasting too much time. Admittedly, it's probably easier just to go through this mode after a while, but at the same time, well, it's kind of hard to know what these stand for without translating them. It's easier just to play the full battles because you can go through and, yep, we'll continue on to the night fight. It's easier just to, get into the real battles just so you can see the little icons and stuff. Alright, so we won that battle with an S. We get a bunch of experience because there was a bunch of ships there. And we move on to the boss fight. Oh, you can actually, well, shit. I guess we're doing this fight like this too. I guess there's only a boss fight that you haven't beaten yet. Oh well. Let's do this. And we'll move on to the nighttime fight. We definitely didn't clean them out, but we got a bunch of damage in, and that means we get a bunch of experience for it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That was a look at Kantai Collection Kai, KanColle Kai, whatever you want to call it. If you've got the wiki in hand and you like these sorts of games, and you can deal with the idea of it being a microtransaction style game that you pay for, and they balance the game around the idea that you've already paid for it, it's a good time, more or less. Just make sure you save often, because that save bug may not have been fixed. I'll probably come back to it at some point, but then again, that being said, it's one of those games that takes hundreds of hours to finish, and, well, I don't have that sort of time, but I'm sure if you felt like it, if you had the sort of time, you'd be more than happy to check it out. So, yeah. As always, this has been Blue Maxima. If you want to buy this game, use my affiliate link below, and you can use the coupon to take a few bucks off the price. I'll see you all next time.